welcome to Faith Flour and Mason Jars. I'm Leah and this is my little southern kitchen. Today we're going to be making a food that I grew up with that Joe absolutely loves. It is a good old southern dish that my mom from West Virginia would make. It was something that I didn't super enjoy as a child, but now I love as an adult. We're going to be making stuffed peppers and stuffed cabbage. So I'm going to show you what to do. Now, normally I would make this in the crock pot, but the last time I made it, I didn't put it in the crock pot in the morning when I should have, and so I just boiled it on the stove, and it took the flavor to a whole new level. So I'm going to show you how I did it on the stove. When I tasted it, I literally felt like my mom, who's been gone since 2003, I literally felt like she was going to walk through the door. It tasted right like she made it. So I'm going to show you how to do it, so watch along. Okay, we're going to start off by peeling a couple of those nasty outer leaves of the cabbage off. When I went to the store to get the cabbage, they just had little heads, and if you've ever worked with little heads of cabbage, you know those little leaves are on there so tight. They were fighting me the whole time. I got off 4 nice ones just so I could have a few cabbage rolls. So anyways, as you can see, I was struggling there. So note to self, look for bigger cabbage heads. I'm going to go ahead and cut and core the peppers. We normally get green peppers, so if I call these green peppers, I promise I do know my colors. It's just the green peppers were another half a times as tall, and I was afraid they would not fit inside my kettle. So then we're going to dice up some onion, a little bit for flavor. You do not have to add onion if you don't want to, but it makes it really good. Meanwhile, I have water in the kettle coming to a boil. That way we can blanch our cabbage leaves and peppers. I don't often blanch the peppers, but I did for this video, and because I already had water boiling to blanch the cabbage leaves. So as you can see, I'm getting a little bit of hamburger out for our little dogs. I like to boil up some hamburger for them so they don't have to have any of the tomato juice. So then I'm going to blanch the cabbage leaves. I just blanch them for, I don't know, 2 minutes, something like that, until they're bright green. If you blanch them, it just makes them a little bit easier to roll rather than using a raw cabbage leaf. So that's what I'm doing there. Swishing them around a little bit, trying to get that boiling water all over them. And then I'm going to start mix up the stuffing for my peppers and my cabbage. So I threw a little bit of onions in there, and then right about that time I saw my cabbage leaves were ready to come out. So get those out just so I can cool them a little bit so they're a little bit more comfortable to handle when it's time to stuff them. So I'm going to blanch my peppers just for a little bit. And then we're going to use our own canned seasoned tomato juice. It is so delicious, y'all. Okay, we're going to use some brown rice for our stuffed peppers. We prefer brown rice just because it does a little bit better for blood sugar. It doesn't spike your blood sugar. It's a little bit healthier for you, so that's why we're using brown rice inside of our stuffing. So I emptied the water out of the kettle, and I put almost a whole jar of tomato juice in the bottom just to be ready when we sit our peppers and our cabbage rolls in there. So anyways, dumped a little bit of tomato juice in there and some rice. Eyeball it, see how much rice you like. We don't like a ton of rice. And one thing we do not like is when you cut into a stuffed pepper and it's like cutting into a hamburger. We like it a lot more moist. So you'll notice I add quite a bit of tomato juice to this 2 pounds of hamburger. We like it a little sloppy when we are stuffing our peppers. So you can always add rice if you need some. You can't take the rice away, obviously. So that's why you just add a little bit at a time till you get it to about where you like it. You can throw in some seasonings, garlic powder, onion powder, Everglades seasonings, whatever you want to throw in there. And I have no measurements because just remember around here we measure seasonings with our heart. So you'll see, well, it looks a little sloppy. That's what we're looking for. Go ahead and stuff your peppers. We like to stuff them nice and tight, and then we like to heap it. Because is there ever a time when there's too much stuffing? I don't think so. So get those stuffed up real nice, and then we're going to throw them in the kettle a while. That way they can just start cooking a little bit. It takes them a little bit longer than it does the cabbage leaves. And I promise, I try to find peppers that are flat on the bottom. They set up a lot nicer. If you get one with one of the humps are bigger than the others and they're always falling over, it drives me crazy. So I felt like everything worked out really good for this supper. Threw in a little bit more tomato juice in there just to let it start cooking. And then we're going to go ahead and start rolling up our cabbage leaves. So put in however much hamburger you want. I'm a meat eater, so I try to make my cabbage rolls mostly meat. With the way these leaves were when I pulled them off with it being so tight and some of them tearing, I should have used a second leaf to wrap around the other way to make them more secure. But personally, I like one layer of cabbage leaves and more meat rather than vegetables, y'all. Go ahead, place those in the kettle as you get them done. And if you just like little tiny cabbage rolls and have mostly cabbage, you can knock yourself out. However you like to do it, make it that way. I just wrapped another partial cabbage leaf around the edge just because that was wide open. I knew that hamburger was going to fall out. See how cute they are? Those are tasty little things. They are so delicious. Our favorite way to eat stuffed peppers is a slice of bread and butter. And you just take a bite of pepper or cabbage, and then you take a bite of bread, and it's with that tomato juice and everything. It is so good, y'all. It's like your tongue will come out of your mouth and slap you on the forehead trying to get to it. Okay, we're on our third leaf, and if the stem's too thick, you can go ahead and cut it off. I don't like a really thick stem when I'm eating my cabbage leaves, so I usually chop off some of the stem if it's a really thick part. And you just close these things with toothpicks. Just remember to pull them out before you eat them. Obviously, you'll know if you're chewing a toothpick. Right there, that's just pure deliciousness. Cook that in that tomato juice and it'll be a feast fit for a king. Doing my last cabbage roll. Look at that cabbage leaf. That's insane how they tore. And I think this is like one of the first times that the meat held out to the amount of peppers and cabbage we have. Usually I either have a whole lot of meat left over or I don't have enough meat to fill my peppers. So I felt like this was like a win today. Go ahead, close that one up, stick it in there, and then we're just going to let it cook roughly an hour, something like that. And we're going to top it off with some more tomato juice. I like it almost covered in tomato juice. Now I realize this pot isn't quite as deep as some other pots, so I had to be careful because I don't want nothing boiling over. Gonna jab a little toothpick down there, and then you're just gonna let it cook for a while, and you'll see we'll check it a couple times. The first time it's gonna just starting to boil, and then the second time it's just looking nice, and then it will be ready to eat. It'll be delicious. So what do you think? That looked like it was pretty easy. It's a meal that is just so easy to make. It kind of happens on accident. And as you notice, we used our tomato juice. We can season tomato juice. We got the recipe from a friend and we love it. You can use it in soups. You can use it in stuffed peppers. We like to just drink it on like a Saturday. It gives you a lot of energy. So we love to use our tomato juice, and we try to use anything that we've canned. So anyways, let me know if you ever decide to make this recipe. And if you could do me a huge favor, if you could like this video, share it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'd be forever grateful to y'all. So from my little Southern kitchen to yours, I'm grateful you were here today. Y'all come back now.